In this video, we demonstrate the use of our tool GETS to extract goal and use case integrated models from natural language-based requirements documents. First of all, we will have a look through a partial requirements documents used in this demonstration. This document contains some requirement specification of a traveler social networking system. There are two sections. The first provides some specifications of goals. The second one contains a use case that describes the interaction between a traveler and a system to write a review and some other details. We will have a closer look to see how complicated the document is. Consider the first sentence. This software system will be a social networking system for travelers around the world. It doesn't contain important information about the functionality or quality of the system. It is rather an introduction to the system being developed. Therefore, it should better not be considered in our extraction process. The second sentence contains a couple important details. Improve the quality of travel planning is an important objective of the system. Also, facilitate the communication between travelers is a critical functionality which is aimed to satisfy the previous goal about improving the travel planning quality. Similarly, the other sentences in this section also have both important details to be extracted and unimportant details that should be ignored. We now consider the use case specification in section 2. There's a number of components in this use case. Although this sentence clearly describes a precondition of the use case, only part of it is needed. The text before this use case can be initiated is not necessary for expressing the precondition of the use case. Now we consider the step 3 in this use case. It contains two sentences. However, only the first one is a use case step. The second one is the data constraint of that step. Now we consider the step 5. It actually is a combination of two steps. One is the traveler enters the review content, and the second one is the traveler submits the review content. The word "it" in this case refers to the noun phrase, the review content. Now we consider step 7. It is actually a combination of a lot of things. It presents two opposite situations. In case the review content is valid, then the system stores the review and then displays a confirmation message. In case the review content is not valid, then the system displays an error and the traveler has to come back and enter the content again. This information must be identified and structured in a clearer way. Now we will run the tool on this document to see the output. This is a project tree which contains a number of directories. The SRS directory stores the requirements document to be considered. The Light directory contains the supporting libraries for the extraction. For example, the parser model, classified models. It also contains an artifact indicator list, which was manually created to map each section with the types of artifacts and components it probably contains. We will have a quick look into the indicator list. What is meant by this is the section with the title requirements specification in this document contain non-use case artifacts. Non-use case artifacts are like non-functional goals, functional goals, data constraints, or business goals. This means that the section whose title is use case contains use case specifications. And the list out here shows the indicators of use case components in this document. We can see here precondition, postcondition, and so on and so forth. We can now try to run the tool. By double-clicking on the doc file, the content of the requirements document is extracted into plain text. We now start the extraction process. The resources such as parser, coreference resolution system, artifact classifiers are being loaded. The extraction is now underway, and now we've got the result. Let's have a look in the business goal here. It is about improve the quality of travel planning that we have seen before in the requirements document. It now has 3 sub-goals, which are also extracted from the requirements document. To improve the traceability of the extracted artifacts, Gets highlights the source sentence from which each artifact is extracted from. We can see here the original sentence of the business goal BG1 and its sub-goals. The business goal BG1 has 5 sub-goals. The first one is the functional feature goal: travelers shall be able to share experiences. The second one is another functional feature goal: travelers shall be able to gain experiences. These goals are extracted from the text travelers to share and gain experiences. Other sub-goals are non-functional product goals. System shall be easy to use and system shall be easy to understand. These goals are extracted from the text remaining easy to understand and use. BG1 also has another sub-goal: facilitate the communications between travelers. This goal is extracted from the second sentence. The refinement relationship between these goals are identified based on the connecting phrase suggest by providing tool to in this case. There are some other goals extracted as well. For instance, the goals travelers shall be able to participate in forum discussions, and travelers shall be able to write travel articles are extracted from the last sentence in the first section. We now have a look into the extracted use case. The description of the use case is extracted from the brief description component in the original test. This is the extracted precondition of the use case. It can be seen that an important part before this use case can be initiated has been removed. Similarly, the test after the use case is successfully completed has been removed from the post-condition specification. We now examine the extracted use case steps. The first step is the same as the original one in the requirements document. Consider the step 3. Only the first part of this step in the requirements document is considered as a step. The second part has been identified as a data constraint and connected to this step. We now consider step 5. It has now been split into 2 separate use case steps. The traveler enters the review content and the traveler submits the review content. Now consider the original step 7. Part of it has been extracted into step 8 and 9 in the use case. These steps handle the case the review content is valid. For the case that the review content is invalid, Guest creates an extension. As can be seen from here, this extension has step 8 as the starting step. This means it describes an alternative range of the use case starting from that step. The extractions condition is the review content is not valid. It has a step which is the system displays errors to the traveler. This step is extracted from the original sentence. The phrase "the traveler repeats step 5" implies that this alternative path would resume to step 5. Guest was able to interpret this and create a resuming relationship here. This is the end of the demonstration. Thank you for watching.